Hello, I'm Yarayu and I'm here to play Nameless. It's made by Cheritz, who also made Dandelion, and Cheritz games seem to be a good thing, so now I'm happy to play a Cheritz game on my own. So let's get to it. What is the name of your first doll? Let's call it Lou. Yeah. Yeah. And our name will be the default one, yeah. Eddie. Blinding white light fills my sight. My arms and legs feel lighter, and soon I feel my body hover. Where am I? Maybe in a dream? I gather strength to walk forward, despite my feet barely touching the ground. No matter how far I go, white space continues without end. I open my eyes, but I can't see or hear anything. I stop and look around. This place, so pure and clean, but for some reason I feel sad. This place, surrounded by glimmering white light, white as snow, is breathtakingly beautiful. But such extreme beauty can only belong in another world. I see something blurred far away. I couldn't see properly because of the glaring light coming at me from all directions. All I could make out was a tall person and another, slightly shorter. Two people?
정말 그것으로 괜찮습니까? 글 있는 건가요?
Who are they? What are they talking about?
대답과 행동이 맞지 않는군요. 좋습니다. 지금의 당신에게는 그것이 어울리니까요. 좋을 대로 하시죠. 단, 선택에 따른 결과는 모두 당신의 몫이라는 것만 기억해 주세요. 모든 것은 당신의 의지였다는 걸 잊지 마시길.
알겠어.
자, 그럼 이것을 받으세요.
The tall man hands over something. And the man who took it looked down for a while, and slowly turned to my side. His lips seemed to move a little. What? He seems to be talking to me. Let's go a little closer. Suddenly fierce wind started to rip through. The wind seemed to will me out of this place. Hold on! Not yet. Wait, I haven't... Along the wind, a myriad of feathers flew around and blocked my sight. I pawed through the wind blowing towards me and made my way to him with all the strength I had. The moment I thought I finally reached him, I fell into a bottomless pit along with countless feathers. Ugh. I was woken up at the noisy alarm clock. Is it morning? Ugh. But I think I was dreaming about something just until now. I keep tracing my memory, but still fuzzy from sleep. I cannot remember. I don't dream often, so the feeling after having one feels strange. The most recent dream was... right, it was then. It was when Grandpa died, about 3 years ago from now. The day I fell asleep, tired from remembering my grandpa, who was no longer by my side. I had a dream about waking up to a peaceful morning with him. In my dream I saw him smiling and waking me up as always, telling me, "You'll be late if you don't get up now." And the next morning, when I realized that his smile was all just a dream. Oh no, this won't do. Let's just think happy thoughts in the morning. Anyways, it's definitely been a long time since I had a dream. I drew the curtains as soon as I got out of bed. The window was slightly wet from the rain last night, but as a result the sky was incredibly clear. Wow, the weather is so good today. Grandpa, isn't today perfect to hang out the laundry? I stare at the small framed picture on the desk. This house used to be the place where two people, my grandpa and I, used to live. He took care of me, instead of my parents, who went abroad for research. I listened to him more after I grew up because I'd lived with him since I was little. Most pictures are of Grandpa and I. Grandpa's smile was in all the pictures pinned at the board above the desk. I cannot even begin to describe the amount of shock I received when he passed away from chronic illness. Days passed by with me constantly passing out from crying so hard. Unable to bear seeing me like this, my parents suggested that I move to the States with them. But I shook my head. I didn't want to be a burden to the research. But more importantly, I couldn't leave this house. This house itself was full of memories I had with Grandpa.
얘가 고집을? 큰일이에요, 여보. 얘 자기 할아버지를 닮아서 한 번 고집 피우면 존재랑 뻑질하는데.
정말 괜찮겠니? 그러지 말고 함께 가자꾸나. 엄마 아빠 일이라면 걱정하지 마.
No, it's really fine. All my friends are here. I want to graduate in Korea.
네가 정 그렇다면이야. 할 수 없구나.
As they commonly say, no parent can persuade their child otherwise. I saw them off and their disappointed smiles, and I became alone in this house. The house is a bit too big to live in by myself. I slowly looked around the living room. Grandpa, it's been over a year. Time flies by really fast, doesn't it? Around the house, there are still many traces of him, other than the pictures. I'm living to the fullest by myself, so don't worry. At first, I wasn't used to being alone, so every night I blankly stared inside the empty house. And every time, it just made me feel more and more lonely. But now, everything's alright. Because I have those kids. I see the desk muddled with diaries and pens. And on the shelf next to it were my most cherished treasures. They are the joys of my life and my precious friends who gave me back my smile. Hey everyone, had a good night's sleep? Mom's right, I really am a carbon copy of my grandpa. He really loved books. It was his hobby to collect antique books. So the house always smelled of all kinds of books. And in my case, it was my hobby to collect dolls. Doll is the company that produced these dolls. I call it the company that gives dolls souls. The first day I got to know about Kroby Doll, through the internet, of course, I had this intense feeling. After that day, I started collecting the allowance my parents sent me. And finally one day, as I desperately hoped for, I got my first doll. He died after I bought my first doll, and that's when I devoted myself more to collecting dolls. Collecting dolls became more important to my life because I was left alone in this huge empty house. I ended up getting 4 more dolls, and now I have 5 in total. They were quite expensive to buy for the average student, so I had to cut back on other expenses. See a doll with... from the top. See a doll with silver hair. Hi, young master. This doll standing here flaunting his long, shiny, silvery hair is Lance, the first doll I ever bought. Lance is the one doll that always stood by me when Grandpa was alive. Yep, see a doll with blonde hair. Good morning? Question mark. You are cute as usual. The doll with his tiny delicate face and bashfully gathered hands is Yono, Kroby Doll's prototype. The day I met him, I was surfing the internet as usual after coming home. But then I saw Yono being sold in an auction for a ridiculous price, and without hesitating, I clicked the bidding button. Later, when I opened the delivered box containing Yono, I unconsciously screamed out of happiness. What kind of person was the owner, selling such a pretty doll at such a cheap price? Yono seems like he will never betray me, even if I love him unconditionally. And that was probably the biggest reason why I bought him. Yes. See a doll with red hair. Hello, warrior. Earth is safe today, all because of you. I mend the hair of the red-haired doll. Meeting Red was special. People were a bit surprised when Kroby Doll announced the action hero type doll, Red, in their new release conference. Kroby Doll had always been known for the charming and mature male dolls. Amongst all the worry, Kroby Doll recruited testers for Red, and luckily I was selected. When my name was announced, I couldn't believe my ears. But unfortunately, after the conference, Red was not officially released. They only chose one tester to give this doll to for free, and that was me. It's still a shame that they did not release the doll afterwards. It would have been nice for him to have gained popularity and be officially released. But as a result, I was the only person in the world who owned Red. But I can't help but feel gloomy every time I look at him. See a doll with brown hair. Look at the weather today. It makes me feel better just by looking. I feel like I'm looking at you. I raised the brunette doll's hand and waved. There's a lot of backstory behind how I was able to get Tay. When Kroby Doll first released Tay, his popularity was beyond imagination. Being a limited edition, along with having a dandy and handsome face, brought out an explosive response from the fans. As a result, I failed to purchase it. I could only get him used because it was a limited edition, but I'm fine with it. Last one. See a doll with black hair. I see the tallest doll among the 5. The tall black-haired doll with a slender body and model-like feel is Yuri. Unlike the existing dolls in Kroby Doll's adult line, he seems realistic and looks like a mature adult male. The number of visitors still explodes when I post pictures of you on the blog. It was Yuri who saved my blog from wasting away to rot. I receive a lot of comments when I upload pictures of him. Whatever, I think like that too. His broad shoulders and beautiful figure oozes sexiness. It's as if he's telling us with his body, I am cool. I doubt more explanation is needed. Stop looking. Money was a bit tight from the expense, but I have 0 regrets. Anyway, the new shoes should arrive today. To whom should I put them on first? I straighten myself to stretch. The 5 dolls watch in silence. Although they are lifeless dolls, it has become a habit to talk to them like this. Darn, I'll be late. I have to get ready. The clock was heading towards 8. I picked up my uniform, sprawled on the floor, and was heading out the door when I suddenly halted. I hurried back to my room and said goodbye to the dolls. Watch the house, everyone. I'll be back. They said nothing in return, but I said bye as if they were real people. Ugh, made it. I was able to make it on time after catching the last bus. I was in ruins after surviving the crowded bus, but all that matters is that I wasn't late. I'm really gonna wake up early starting tomorrow, otherwise I'll die like this. I pledge this every day, but I never actually done it. Yes. I know how you feel.
오호라! 오늘은 UFO가 동쪽에 떴냐? 머리카락 손질 좀 해. 하긴 매일 아침 그렇게 다양한 방향으로 머리 안테나를 세우는 것도 재주긴 재주다 얘.
Huh? Oh. Hi. Good morning. I sit on my desk, pressing my stuck-up hair back to my head. She approaches the seat next to me. The way she sweeps her shiny voluptuous curls, or the way she drops her eyes, reek of elegance. All you have to see is her fearless voice and confident moves to notice her self-assured personality.
너도 좋은 아침. 그런데 밤마다 뭘 하길래 그렇게 매일 아슬아슬하게 지각을 면하는 거야? 너 혹시 나 몰래 남친이라도 만나냐?
Well, I do have doll boyfriends. Do they count? Last night I was so absorbed with taking pictures of the dolls that I went to bed at dawn.
안녕.
I hear another voice behind me. I turn around to see a girl with short, boyish hair right behind my back. Girls in the class stirred as they saw her standing, slanted with her hands in her pockets. Hi, Shimbi. Soy, Shimbi and I are called the trio in this class. Soy and Shimbi were childhood friends since they were little, and I became friends with them after I entered this academy. I never thought I'd be friends with them at first because of their gorgeous and showy looks. Yeah, at first
돼서 말인데 넌 어떻게 생각해?
What? Sorry, I missed it. Say that again?
뭐야, 사람이 얘기하고 있는데 너 또 그 멍 때리는 버릇 나온 거야? 됐어. 아무튼 이거 말이야, 이거. 네가 보기엔 어떤 디자인이 나은 것 같아?
So he handed me a magazine. Top 5 cute dresses in trend for girls. The gorgeous model posing in a pretty dress looks familiar. Cause it's Shimby! The name of the model written in the bottom left of the page looks familiar too. Because it's Shimby! Shimby! Ever since Shimby was street cast, she has often missed classes for modeling work. I thought street casts were all like scams. You know? So it tells me she has a lot of fans and is quite popular nowadays. But Shimby herself doesn't seem to be into those things.
그나저나 신비야, 너 요새 잡지란 잡지에는 다 나오던데 힘들지 않아?
조금 그럭저럭 견딜만해.
너도 참 고생이다. 그러니까 나처럼 그때 거절하지 그랬어.
Soy was beside Shimby when she was cast. The Soy was offered too, but refused right at the spot. If you model, won't you be able to meet cute male models? I asked her why later on, and she replied like this.
아직 내공이 부족하구나, 친구야. 모델은 아니야. 보기만 해서는 만족할 수 없다고.
After that, I didn't listen carefully.
눈부셔! 오늘은 왜 잠잠한가 했다.
She turned her head towards the flashlight. Countless phones were flashing through the windows on the hallway. It's a sight that has become common due to Shimby's rising popularity. Everyone seems to have waited for this moment. This moment.
지난주에는 신비가 수업 들으러 자주 나오지 못했으니 더 극성인 거지. 나도 지난주에는 매점에서 만나서 겨우 인사만 했어. 야, 근데 넌 수업은 안 들을 거면서 그날은 왜 온 거야?
우유 사러. 여기에서밖에 안 파는 게 있어.
Yep.
네. 아, 맞다. 매점 이야기가 나와서 말인데 나 아까 오전에 심장 떨어질 뻔한 일이 있었어.
A heart attack? Why?
그게 말이야. 신비가 아침부터 딸기 우유가 마시고 싶다고 해서 둘이 매점에 가고 있었거든?